My name is Kelly, and I am 31 years old. For a long time, I've been struggling with a difficult family situation. This all started when I was 21 years old. At that time, I was a happy and hopeful second-year college student studying psychology. I had always been inspired by a therapist who had helped me after my father passed away when I was a child. I had set myself a big goal to become a clinical psychologist, and my studies were going well. I was doing well in school and had made great friends. I loved spending time with them, and I even had plans to study abroad the following year. But everything changed when my mother, Julie, who is 55 years old, became very sick and could no longer work. She developed a serious chronic illness that caused her joint and muscle pain, making it hard for her to move around. Her condition kept getting worse, and the doctors told us that there was no cure for her illness. This news was devastating for our family. At that time, my younger sister, Emma, was only 16 years old and was still in high school. Like most teenagers, she was rebellious, moody, and spent a lot of time playing video games. Our father had passed away in a car accident when Emma was just a baby, so it had always been just the three of us. We had been supporting each other as best as we could. Before my mother got sick, she worked as a legal secretary and took care of our household. But with her illness getting worse, she could no longer continue her job. As my mother's condition worsened, I felt like it was my responsibility to help support our family. I remember sitting in my small dorm room, surrounded by my psychology textbooks, trying to focus on my studies. But in that moment, I realized that I would have to give up the dreams I had for myself. It was a tough decision, but there didn't seem to be any other choice. My mother needed regular care, and I knew that Emma, who was so young, couldn't handle the responsibility of taking care of her. It wasn't easy for me to accept that I had to put my dreams on hold. I had always worked so hard to get to where I was, and the thought of giving up on my career felt like a big loss. But my family needed me, and I had to step up. I knew that my mother's health would only get worse and she couldn't take care of herself. It was a huge burden for me to take on at such a young age, but I knew I had to do it. Although I gave up my dream of studying abroad and becoming a clinical psychologist, I didn't give up on my studies completely. I still continued to study, but my focus shifted. I found new ways to learn and grow, even while taking care of my family. My relationship with my sister became stronger because I had to be there for her, guiding her through difficult times. And while it wasn't a life I had imagined for myself, I learned that sometimes we have to make difficult choices for the people we love. Taking care of my mother and sister changed me. It made me more responsible, more compassionate, and stronger than I ever thought I could be. Even though it wasn't easy, I never regretted putting my family first. I realized that sometimes life doesn't go as planned, and we have to adapt. I still remember the day I went to the school office to withdraw from college. My advisor tried hard to convince me to stay. She suggested that I could attend part-time or take a leave of absence, but I knew those options wouldn't work because our family needed money right away. There was no time to wait. At just 21 years old, I made the difficult decision to drop out of college and start working full-time. My first job was as a receptionist at a small accounting firm. The pay wasn't much, but it was steady. I also moved back home to live with my mom and sister, Emma, so we could save money on rent. The first few months were really tough. I had left behind my exciting college lectures and study groups for a job where I mostly answered phones and did office work. In the evenings, I helped my mom with her therapy and made sure Emma stayed on track with her schoolwork. At night, I often wondered if I had made the right choice, but I always found a way to keep going. I used to believe that someday my mom's condition would get better, Emma would become independent, and I could go back to school. Even though that hope started to fade, I held on to it as the years went by. It felt like my dream was getting further away, but I still kept believing in it. While dealing with what was happening in my life, I started as a receptionist, but after a while, I was promoted to an administrative job. This gave me a slight pay raise, which helped cover our living costs and my mom's medical bills. I made sure Emma had everything she needed for school, like supplies, clothes, and money for school trips. I wanted to give her the opportunities that I had to give up. Because of my hard work, Emma was able to finish high school with scholarships and support, and she was able to go to college. I was so proud of her. It made me happy to see that at least one of us in the family would earn a degree. The day she got her acceptance letter, I cried tears of joy. To celebrate, I took her to an ice cream shop, just like my parents had done for me when I did well in school as a child. During all this time, I had put my own dreams on hold. I gave up on continuing my education and sacrificed my own personal time and plans to fully take care of my mom and help Emma. I was tired, but I kept telling myself that I was doing it for the family. It was hard not to feel jealous or unhappy sometimes, especially when I saw other people living a life I had once hoped for. But I kept pushing through because I knew it was for the good of my family. I often saw posts from my college friends on social media about their successful careers and exciting new lives. It made me feel like I had missed out on a lot. But there were still happy moments, like when my mom had a good day and we watched old movies together, or when Emma called from college to tell me about her good grades and new friends. Those moments made me feel like all the hard work and sacrifices I had made were worth it. Over time, though, I started feeling unappreciated. It seemed like no one really noticed the struggles I was going through. Even though my mom's health was improving, she still needed a lot of care. She would often complain about how hard her life was but rarely mentioned how much I had done for her. Sometimes she would say things like, "You should be doing better," or "Other daughters would do more for their parents." Those words hurt, but I tried not to show it. Emma also started to change once she went to college. At first, she called me every week, excited to talk about her classes and campus events. But over time, she called less and less. Now she only called when she needed money or help with something. She rarely asked about how Mom or I were doing. When I looked at Emma's social media, I saw her having fun with her new college friends, going on spring break trips, things that felt so far out of my reach. Every time I saw those pictures, it made me feel even more distant from her. I had no idea how to close that gap. Even when Emma came home for vacation, she spent most of her time with her high school friends and didn't seem interested in spending time with Mom or me. But last week, something changed. Emma graduated from college. Despite everything, I was so happy and proud of her. I had been planning for months to give her a simple yet nice watch as a graduation gift. It wasn't fancy, but I thought it would be perfect for job interviews. I remembered the excitement I felt when my dad gave me my first watch at 17, and I wanted Emma to feel that special moment too. The graduation ceremony was emotional, and I cried as I watched Emma walk across the stage to get her diploma. But at the graduation party afterward, my mom and I felt like we didn't belong. Emma spent most of the time with her college friends and her new boyfriend, Tyler. His cold looks made us feel like we were intruding. When I tried to give Emma the gift, she brushed me off, saying she was too busy. I stood there holding the present, feeling so awkward and sad. I held back my tears and quietly sat in a corner of the party. One day, I overheard Emma talking to Tyler. She was telling her friends how embarrassed she was by our family and how much she wanted to move out and start a new job. She said she was tired of us holding her back and that she planned never to contact us again once she left home. I was shocked and hurt to hear such cold words from my sister, especially after all I had done for her. I had supported her with so much of my own life, helping her with homework and giving her money for college instead of spending it on things for myself, like new clothes or hairstyles. A flood of emotions hit me all at once. Is that how she really felt about us? The next day, I confronted Emma about what I had heard, hoping she would apologize. But instead, she criticized me harshly. She told me it was pathetic that I gave up my life for a mom and that she never asked me to do that. She even accused me of being jealous of her success and trying to make her feel guilty. During our argument, our mom didn't defend me. In fact, she said I was being dramatic and that I should just let Emma be happy and not worry about it. At 31 years old, with no degree, a job that wasn't going anywhere, and taking care of a mom who didn't appreciate me and a sister who seemed to hate me, I felt like I was losing my youth. I began to seriously think about finding a new place to live, rediscover myself, and focus on my own needs. But at the same time, I felt guilty about leaving my mom without anyone to help her, especially if her health got worse. As these thoughts haunted me, I realized I needed to talk openly about my feelings with my mom and Emma. I practiced what I wanted to say in my head over and over, trying to find the right words so I wouldn't sound like I was blaming them. I invited Emma to come over, hoping we could fix things between us. I suggested we go out for dinner together, and although she agreed reluctantly, I spent the day cleaning the house and making our mom's favorite lasagna. I hoped it would create a warm family moment that might soften everyone's hearts, but things didn't go as I had hoped. The evening quickly turned bad. Our mom started by accusing me of trying to make her feel guilty for being sick. She said, "I never asked you to quit college. It was your choice, wasn't it? Do you think I wanted to ruin your life by getting sick?" Then she brought up how she had taken care of her own sick father for years without complaining. I tried to explain that I wasn't blaming her and just wanted to show my appreciation, but she wouldn't listen. Emma didn't say much. She mostly stayed quiet during the whole conversation. I kept telling myself I was being too sensitive and maybe she didn't mean it that way, but the look on her face made it clear she was serious about what she said. She started talking about all her achievements, her degree, job offers, and plans to move to the city. She looked at me and said, "What have you done? You're almost 31 and still living at home, working as a secretary." At that moment, I couldn't hold back my tears. I started sobbing as I told her how much her words hurt me. I asked her why she treated everything like it was my fault. Our mom accused me of trying to start a fight with Emma. I said, "From now on, I won't help you at all. I don't feel like I need to be involved anymore. I don't have to sacrifice myself for you to be okay." They reacted to what I said like I was overreacting, telling me not to talk like that. I replied, "Looking back over these 10 years, my life has been miserable." It was then that I felt there was no reason for me to stay. Holding back more tears, I walked out of the house. I've never felt such a tightness in my chest before. Right now, I'm staying at my best friend Susan's house, trying to figure out what to do next. Susan has been my friend since high school, and she's one of the few people I've kept in touch with over the years. She has always supported me. Feeling guilty, I thought about going back home, but then my mom started saying how ungrateful I was. That was the turning point for me. I decided to stop all financial support and told my mom I needed to leave and take some time for myself. She tried to make me feel guilty by saying her health would get worse if I left, but I stuck to my decision. I suggested other options like hiring home care or asking Emma to help, but my mom refused, saying she couldn't trust anyone else. After that, she sent me messages switching between blaming me and begging me to come back. I ended up blocking her number. I haven't heard from Emma at all. Susan's apartment isn't big, but she's given me a place to stay. It feels strange to have free time in the evenings now without having to rush home to check on my mom or do household chores. I'm still getting used to this quiet. I no longer have to worry about my mom calling for help. Finding myself again, not just as a caregiver, is still a bit hard. But for the first time in a long time, I'm starting to feel hopeful about my future. It's been a month since I left home. Living with Susan feels like a fresh start, and she's been such a great support. With the savings I had built up over the years, I'm starting to feel like I can move forward. I decided to enroll in community college. Right now, I'm taking an introductory psychology class and an English writing class. Going back to school and studying again feels amazing. The first time I went to class after so many years, I felt both excited and nervous. I had been out of school for a long time. So, I was worried about being the oldest student and whether I could keep up, but it turns out my worries weren't necessary. There were other adult students in the class, some of them even older than me. Balancing household duties, work, and school has been very hard, but social life in this new setting is a different kind of stress. This kind of stress feels more like it's about growing and improving, not just about getting by. I have also started therapy to work through my feelings about my family. Talking to a professional has helped a lot. She has shown me how to set boundaries and improve my self-esteem. We've also discussed why I always thought it was natural to put everyone else first. Last week, I ran into my Aunt Emily at the supermarket. I've always been close to her, and she's like a second mother to me. She asked me why I hadn't been answering my mom's calls. I briefly explained my situation. There are times when I feel relieved that I don't have to carry all the burdens alone, especially since I've had some support from work and family. One day, my aunt invited me to a nearby cafe for an important conversation. She said, "Kelly, everyone in the family knows how much you've sacrificed for your mom and Emma over the years. You dropped out of college when you were 21 and have supported the family since then. I want to help you." My aunt decided to give me part of her inheritance. After going through all the paperwork, I received $770,000. This unexpected support has opened up many new possibilities for my life. But what made me happiest was that someone finally recognized all my hard work. Thanks to my aunt's help, I've been able to take the first steps toward a new life. I've started looking for a new job. Last week, I applied for an entry-level position in the HR department of a local nonprofit organization, and I got hired. The salary is a bit higher than my current job, and it offers chances for career growth. Most importantly, the job is meaningful and matches my interests. Overall, I feel cautiously optimistic as I continue to move forward. I've also started hiking again, a hobby I used to love but hadn't had time for in years. I know I still have a long way to go. It will take time to heal from the years of codependency and rebuild my life, but I'm determined to stay positive no matter how difficult it gets. Even when I face challenges, I am learning to trust myself and my choices. As a result, I've started to see significant changes that are very different from my life before. I was able to find the courage to make these changes, and my strong interest in psychology played a big part in that. For the first time, I want to experience a job where my efforts are recognized and appreciated. I'm still taking community college classes, and they're going well. Next year, I'll earn my associate degree. With my aunt's support, I plan to transfer to a 5-year university to get a bachelor's degree in psychology. Balancing school and work isn't easy, but I'm more motivated than I've ever been before. Thanks to living with Susan, I feel connected to a community of family and friends. There are still tough times, but I try not to focus on them too much. With my therapist's help, I'm learning how to deal with these emotions and set healthy boundaries. Emma finally graduated and moved to another place to start her new job. She sent me a message saying she wants me to keep doing well, even though she's not around anymore. I didn't reply to her message. It makes me sad that our relationship will never be the same as it once was. I remember the good times we had, but I also know I need to accept the changes. I hope there might be a chance for us to talk in the future, and that chance came sooner than I expected. Before Emma moved out, we met up one more time. When I arrived, I almost decided to leave the room, but I chose to stay and listen to what they had to say. At first, the atmosphere was very tense, and it was uncomfortable. My mom looked older and more tired than I remembered. I felt guilty for a moment, but then I remembered why I decided to leave home in the first place. As the night went on, my mom started to open up. She acknowledged the support I had given her and admitted that she had taken me for granted for many years. She said she was afraid of losing me completely. She also shared that she is now learning to prioritize herself without being selfish. There are still challenges. I'm still figuring out how to balance my own needs with caring for others in a healthy way. I'm working on forgiving my family, but I'm also making sure I don't allow myself to be taken advantage of again. It's a process, and I know there will be both good and bad days, but I feel like I'm on the right path. I'm proud of myself for having the courage to make these changes. For months after I left home, I got news from my Aunt Emily that my mom had been hospitalized. She had been rushed to emergency care because her autoimmune disease had gotten worse, and it was clear she couldn't live alone anymore. Since I left, her condition had gotten much worse. She often forgot to take her morning medication, struggled with her rehabilitation, and couldn't manage household tasks. She refused meal delivery services, saying she didn't trust food prepared by others. She also found it hard to shop even at the nearby supermarket. Eventually, the refrigerator was full of spoiled food, and she wasn't eating properly. After she was hospitalized, she had no choice but to accept the need for home care. She reluctantly agreed to get help from a social worker and home health aides that my aunt arranged. During this time, I got an unexpected message from my sister, Emma. She asked, "Kelly, I need to talk to you. Can we chat on the phone when you have time?" On the phone, she told me that Aunt Emily had shared with the whole family what I had done over the past decade, including my sacrifices since our mom got sick, dropping out of college to work full-time, and supporting her education. Emma also mentioned the harsh things our cousins Betty and Jessica had said about her at the graduation party. They were the same age as Emma and had been close friends with her since their student days, so their words meant a lot to Emma. They said things like, "How could you say such things about your sister who sacrificed her youth for 11 years? Calling her a loser? Emma, how could you not appreciate that your fun college life was all thanks to your sister?" With all the criticism from the family and the reality of our mother being hospitalized, Emma seemed to deeply regret her actions. She said, "Kelly, I'm really sorry. I just wanted to be recognized in my new life, and I was a complete fool. I was ashamed of where I came from. I tricked myself into thinking that all my success was because of my own hard work, not because of the sacrifices you made. Now I understand how selfish and cruel that was." Emma told me she would fly back for the weekend and wanted to think about what she could do for her mom's care. She even offered to use part of her salary to help pay for her mom's caregiving costs. I wasn't ready to fully accept Emma's apology yet. It will take time to see if her actions show that she truly regrets what she did, not just her words. Emma said, "Kelly, I want to take some time off to meet and talk in person." After thinking about it, I agreed to meet her for a short time over the weekend. When Emma returned, I met her at the cafe. She looked a bit thinner than before. She said, "Kelly, I'm truly sorry. It was only when others pointed it out that I realized how foolish I was. Even though we're apart, please let me help with Mom's caregiving costs using part of my monthly salary. I'll also use my long vacations to visit a few times a year to check on Mom, and I'll stay in regular contact with her online." I didn't feel like Emma was being dishonest, but because of everything that had happened, I couldn't trust her right away. Would she really keep her promise to support our mom financially and stay in regular contact? I wasn't sure yet. I planned to watch how things go over time for updates on our mom's condition. I sometimes hear from Aunt Emily. At first, our mom was confused, but she's slowly getting used to the caregiving service, and her relationship with the helpers is reported to be good. I'm not ready to see her in person yet, but it gives me some peace of mind knowing her life is starting to improve. Aunt Emily's actions have brought about important changes in our family. However, it will take time to see if these changes are real. For now, I'm focusing on my studies and work while keeping an eye on things from a distance to see if everyone in the family is doing what they need to do. I've decided to walk my own path in life and put my own happiness first. I hope to find a good balance with my family.